I've been fishing professionally for a lot of years, and it's interesting to me how someone is always coming up with something new, a new technique, a new piece of gear, a new way to catch fish. We're going to be talking about just such a thing on this week's show, a fairly new technique that's very effective for catching crappie. And this is a technique that I'm still in the process of learning, but it really works well. Glad you're along with us. The next half hour is going to be a lot of fun. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Every year during the warm weather months, from late spring right through the summertime months, there is a technique that can be fantastic for loading your boat with good-sized crappie or white perch. It's a technique that I'm still in the process of learning, and it's called dock shooting. It's where we used specialized spinning tackle made for this purpose to literally, like a bow and arrow, shoot tiny crappie jigs back under the shade of boat docks and boathouses. And it can be dynamite this time of the year for catching lots of crappie. We're going to be trying that technique today on a lake that I've never done it on before. Welcome to Lake Palestine. It's located in deep East Texas near Tyler, Texas. We'll be explaining the technique, what you need to do it, how to learn it, and hopefully how you can catch some this coming weekend. We're taking the Tracker Pro Team 195 out onto Lake Palestine to experience this today. While we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for your local fishing reports this week. How's the fishing where you live? We're gonna find out in the next half hour. Gonna be a lot of fun. Glad you're along for the ride. Right now we get the boat launched into Lake Palestine. We get you back to the studios for your weekend planner.
If at all possible, you will want to be on the water this weekend because the Salooner tables indicate both days of the weekend having the best possible game fish activity of the month. Peak evening hours are forecast to begin after midnight, and the peak daytime activity is slated to begin at 1:14 p.m. on Saturday and 2:03 p.m. on Sunday. Look for the sun to rise at 6:26 and set at 8:38. And we have a full moon this weekend on Saturday. Stay with us for freshwater and coastal fishing information from around the region. Plus, I'll return with 2014 Classic champion Randy Howell on this week's Ask the Pro feature. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And NITRO Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Got it. Come out of there. Come out of there. There he is. Oh yeah, got it under there. You want to let it go down on a slack line so that it goes straight down as deep back under the dock as you can get it to. And then you just gently fish. Got him. There we go. He's there. Come out of there. Come out of there. There he is. Decent crappie. Up you come, buddy. All right, well, there's a start. Pulled up on that dock, shot it in there, and there's a little fatty for you to start it. Well, we're not keeping crappie today, so I'm gonna release him back. But let's talk about what docks you want to start with. You want a lot of shade when you're looking for these docks. So this has got a big platform here, a great big dock. You want a big profile. We've got kind of a partly cloudy day today. I will tell you that this tends to be best on the brightest sunny day, so you have the brightest sun and the darkest shade, and you want to shoot it back in the very darkest part. So what you want to do is you can actually go on your local lake on Google Earth, Google Satellite View, or you can look on your chart. I actually looked on my Lowrance HDS carbon units, looked at the charts that come on it, and I could actually see the docks, and you can see how deep a water the docks are over. Typically, I like my docks to be at least 8 foot, 10, 12, as deep as 20 feet. So there's your location tip to start with. Find those little bit deeper docks, big platform, lot of shade. That's your starting point to catch these crappie. Let's get you fishing and lake reports from where you live.
Hey folks, Captain D here with your Carolinas report. We're sponsored this week by Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, when you're in the Carolinas and the Grand Strand, make sure you come down to the Murrells Inlet Marsh Walk and enjoy our beautiful place. We're open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and here it's always about that food, the view, and the music. Saltwater side of things is my favorite time of the year. The spade fish are thick on the reefs. If you can find the jelly balls, you're going to have a great time right now. And you don't need the jelly balls, as I've said in the past. You can get some fresh frozen squid, put that on a clothes hanger, you'll fold it up and run that clothes hanger in a circle to look just similar to a jelly ball. And like I did in the episode 2 years ago that I filmed for Barry, you're going to have a great time out there fishing with these squid. They work just perfectly. The other thing is we're starting to see the larger king mackerel show up on the live bottoms near our beaches. North and South Carolina right now, we're starting to see those 20, 30-pound fish being caught on those live bottoms. You may not catch 10, 15, 20 fish in these areas. You're going to find your biggest fish. Find these areas that are isolated away from those big schools of smaller fish, and you're going to have a great time if you put a big live bait out, such as a bluefish or even a gray trout that's legal. Put those out. It's a great bait if you can catch them on your nearshore reefs this time of the year. This has been your Carolinas report brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Got him. Come out of there. There he comes loose. He had me around a pole for a second. Oh, another little one. Well, it's a fish anyway. There's a crappie. One more under that dock. It's funny, once you catch a fish out from under one of these docks, chances are there's going to be several more. Typically you won't catch just one. So it's really good to kind of lock yourself down. In my case, I've either got power poles on the back or I've got my MotorGuide XI5 trolling motor and I can lock it down. But you want to keep making repeated pitches because literally I've caught 12, 14, 15 crappie out from under one dock. They definitely gang up. Come out, buddy. Decent fish. Let me give you a quick instructional on how to shoot these docks. You take this, I'll show you the gear and the rod and the reel and the line and all that later, but basically you're going to open your bail. Let that bait drop until it's between your first eye and your hand, about that far. That's critical. You're going to hold your finger on the line with your right hand. You're going to pull that bait back towards you where that rod is completely bowed. You let go with your left hand, keep your right hand steady, and shoot it as far back in there as you can. Got him. Come out, buddy. Decent fish. All right, there's another one for you. Welcome back, everybody. We're shooting docks today in East Texas on Lake Palestine, and you saw me do something there. This is a different dock. Just pulled up to another dock, found one with the right depth of water under it, the right shade. And you saw me do something there. I let out some slack. So you want to fish that bait way back in the backs of these pockets, or back into the backs of the docks. So you shoot it way back up under there. I leave my bail open like that, pull it, give it some slack, then close the bail. That way it falls straight down on a slack line. It doesn't come back to you any. Then I can gently take up that slack and feel it as it goes down. Once it gets to the bottom back there, then I can slowly swim it back in. You just want to gently lift that rod tip real slow. Pull the bait up and let it swim and float its way back. And generally back in there, you don't feel too much of a thump. They just swim sideways with it, and that's how you know you've got a bite. Okay, we're on fish. Let's get you some more fishing and lake reports from your local reporter.
This part of the program is brought to you by Visit Jacksonville. Northeast Florida offers great fishing, family-fun beaches, top restaurants and resorts that are easy to get to, and offer outdoor fun for everyone. So come on, visit Jacksonville. Well, Captain Greg Hildreth up on St. Simon's Island in southeast Georgia Says the tarpon have finally showed up in pretty good numbers. These are big fish, 100, 150 pound fish. They're hanging around the menhaden pods and around tide line rips during falling or hard incoming tide, so we can read those rips. That's where they are chasing these menhaden schools using live bait, sometimes live menhaden or cut bait. Fishing is just starting for these tarpon, and it will only get better as we get down through the season. Greg says between the moons, between the new moon and the full moon, offers the better fishing because the water gets a little dark and the tides can be really, really strong in southeast Georgia. Greg also says that there's plenty of triple tail along the beaches still offering some good sight fishing. Also there's pompano along the surf for anglers that are using sand fleas and clams for bait. Inshore there's been good fishing for trout to 20 inches and rat rids and some flounder. In Mississippi the fishing has been tough because of all the heavy rains they've had. The inshore areas are very off color, and the best fishing is off toward the Gulf side of the islands. The Gulf Islands like Horn, Cat, and Ship are good. Catching fish there on grub jigs and plugs. King mackerel around the oil rigs and around the state reefs. It's much the same thing in Alabama. Captain Patrick Garmison says the rain has pushed most of that good fishing out toward the Gulf in the lower Mobile Bay area and around Dauphin Island, though he says he's catching plenty of trout up to 21 inches on topwater plugs around Dauphin Island and some redfish too. Well, that's it for the coast. Get out of the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Report is sponsored by Southern Saltwater Fly Fishing Magazine. This destination-oriented e-zine covers the great saltwater action on the South Atlantic and Gulf Coast from Maryland to Panama and the Caribbean islands. Subscriptions are free at www.southernsaltflyfishing.com. We're now past the Independence Day holiday and into those typical summer weather patterns throughout the deep South states. This means hot and humid conditions that make angling uncomfortable. But if you pick the right destinations, you can still catch some fish. In Mississippi this week, a good place for some hot weather bass fishing is Natchez State Park Lake in the southwest corner of the state. This 230-acre lake gave up the state record largemouth of 18 pounds 2 ounces, but it's also just a good place for some summer bass action. You want to look for the schools of bass chasing shad on the surface, and when you see that appear, throw a topwater lure into the action. But for a real lunker, use a 5 to 6 inch shad colored swim bait and let it sink through that action. The bigger bass will be feeding beneath that melee. In Georgia, the bluegill are bedding right now on the approach of the full moon at Rocky Mountain Public Fishing Area near Rome. Crickets and worms are great baits for these fish in either one of the area's 2 lakes. For something different in Alabama, target rainbow trout on the Sipsey Fork River near Jasper in the state's only year-round fishery for these fish.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by MotorGuide Trolling Motors. MotorGuide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish-finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
That one was living way back under the middle. That's a good one. I got a good shoot back under that dock. That one was living way back under the middle. That's a good one. All right, welcome back everybody. We are having a good time today. Catching just some average good keeper size crappie like that one. Not anything special, but a lot of fun to catch, but we're demonstrating for you the technique of shooting under these docks. Now, that one's going back. Let me encourage you about one thing. With some practice, you can do this. This is doable. It's not as difficult to learn as it looks like. Now, what you do need to do is practice, and here's how you practice. You practice in open water. So you don't actually try to shoot up under the docks first. You grab that line, bow it like this, and shoot it out in open water. And practice it, guiding it, and getting that bait to go where you want it to, and getting it to go low. And you'll catch on pretty quickly. You can stand out on a dock, you can stand on your boat, stand on the back of a boat, stand on the shore, anywhere you want to go. But with a little bit of practice, you'll be surprised at how small an area, little places in styrofoam on a floating dock, little cracks in a concrete structure, you can shoot this bait back in some amazing places. And real quickly, I learned that I can get this bait back in places that I never believed I could. Right now, though, we get you to Fishing and Lake Reports.
The terminal coffin from Bass Mafia is designed to be the ultimate storage solution for terminal tackle. Including 3 weight coffins and 3 hook coffins, it also has an entire row for unlimited customization for your terminal tackle storage needs. Check them out today at mafiaoutdoors.com.
Hey guys, the fishing in Tennessee and Kentucky is really good right now. The bass fishing is what you might expect it to be. Offshore primarily, deep diving crankbaits, 6XDs, 10XDs, 10-inch worms, either Texas rigged or on a stand-up head. And I would concentrate on river ledges if it were me. Kentucky Lake, Pickwick, Chickamauga seem to be the hottest lakes right now. Let's talk night fishing a minute because that's probably the hottest thing going. I would go Dale Hollow, Center Hill, Percy Priest, Lake Cumberland. Big black spinner baits, dark plastics and jigs are the most productive things right now. It's a lot of fun and a great way to catch them. The crappie bite's so-so. What are being caught are typically spider rigging over offshore cover, stumps, brush piles, things of that nature. The catfish bite's really good, especially on the Cumberland River. We've got a lot of boat traffic right now, a lot of recreational traffic, a lot of tournament traffic. So if you're on the water in this region, it's a really popular time to be there. So just be really careful. Always wear your life vest, and we'd love to see you here. God bless.
Let me see if I can get one more jig shot way back in that corner like that. There we go. Good one. Don't you jump off. All right, there's one more for you. Well, we have had a good day flipping around on these docks. I'll give you a quick look at that one. Just a good solid keeper fish. That one would eat really well. Back he goes. Hey, before we go to quick break, I want to give you the contact information for 2 guys that can teach you how to shoot docks. One is in Alabama. It's Lee Pitts. He guides at Weiss Lake and several other lakes up and down the Coosa River chain. He stays on wherever the crappie bite is good. He can definitely teach you how to shoot docks. He's on the Bobby Garland Pro staff along with me. The other one is in Texas at Cedar Creek Lake, bigcrappie.com. Chuck Rollins and his staff can do a great job of teaching you how to shoot docks. They've got a great lake to do it on, lots of good docks. So you can contact either one of those 2 guys based on where your proximity is in our region. You can learn hands-on how to shoot docks and get somebody actually instructing you to do that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday night at 6, or catch the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional insiders. This week's question comes from Mike, who asks, what are some tips for catching bass from around a lighted pier at night? For the answer, we checked with 2014 Bassmaster Classic champion, Randy Howell.
One of my probably best tip is not to get right on top of the light but stay far back as you can because the fish are real spooky because they sense a shadow very easily around light. So if you stay far back, make long casts into that light, you're going to get more bites, and try really small baits. Sometimes my little small Randy's swimming runner, that's a bait that a lot of guys fish at night that I've heard a lot of good success with. It's a little small underspin with a little small swim bait on it, and make long casts and go through that light and you'll catch big bass like that.
Thank you, Randy. If you have something to ask one of our insiders, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now it's time to give away a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Right now it's time for someone who watches our show and enters our contest to win a free pair of Costa sunglasses in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. Here's this week's winner. He is Eric Cox of Mobile, Alabama, showing a 12-pound redfish he caught at Dauphin Island, Alabama. If you'd like to have a chance to be our next winner, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. On the right side of the homepage, click on the Costa Catch of the Week box, follow the instructions to send us your big fish photo, and you just might be our next winner. And if you'd like to see all of the Costa frame and lens styles, go back to our homepage and click on the Costa logo. It's there you can see all of the 580 polycarbonate lenses in all the different colors, and all of the frame styles and colors, including the frame that I was wearing on this week's episode. This one is called SouthEAST. You're going to need some specialized tackle if you want to shoot docks, and it begins with a great dock shooting rod. This is the Lew's Wally Marshall Speed Shooter Rod Series. It's a 7-foot medium light action rod, and it'll shoot way back under these docks. You can tell it by the blue color just in front of the handle. As far as the line goes, I like to use fluorocarbon line in about 6-pound or 8-pound test, and you need specialized lures as well. This is the Bobby Garland Head Doctor jig head. It's made specifically for shooting docks because of these little ribs that are made to hold your plastic bait up on the head when you skip it underneath those docks under all that pressure. I caught some of the fish today on a brand new bait. That's a Bobby Garland Crappie shooter bait. Here's a little tip. When you thread that up on your hook and push it up onto those ribs, you can twist it around and basically screw it up onto that head. It'll make it slide up on those ribs a little easier if you'll twist it around several times as you're putting pressure toward the head. You want to make sure you run it all the way up to the jig head. In 2008, the novel The Shack spent over a year and a half on one of the New York Times bestseller lists. One of my favorite parts of the movie is when the lead character, played by Sam Worthington, enters a cave to confront a woman who represents the voice of wisdom. Now, the scene is too long for me to recount here, and I'd highly advise you to see the movie. But I will tell you that the scene plays off of one of the scenes out of The Empire Strikes Back. It does one of the best jobs I've ever seen of answering one of life's most difficult questions, and that is why bad things sometimes happen to good or innocent people. Ultimately, it revolves around the question of who do you trust? In my life, I've chosen to trust a God who's infinitely wiser than anyone I've ever known. But the great news is everyone gets to choose who they trust, and you do too. I do hope you enjoyed our trip today to beautiful Lake Palestine near Tyler, Texas. We used it as a test tube to demonstrate the dock shooting technique that we showed you. From East Texas until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.